I'm Steve Amber, and I'm Barbara Klein with Exploration in VOA Special English. Today, we explore the clear blue waters around the island of the bananas to learn about the exciting sport of scuba diving. The word scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Knowing how to dive opens up an unturned underwater world of coral, fish, and other creatures. Join us as we learn the basics of diving, to talk and explain and say hello to a shark. Image swimming in clear blue waters as you look at small, brightly colored fish and the striking shape of coral organisms. The underwater world is quick expert for the sound of your breathing. When you breathe out, you see many shining air bubbles floating upward toward the surface of the water. Since humans are not designed to see and breathe underwater, scuba diving requires several pieces of important equipment. Scuba dive must wear a mask in order to be able to see underwater. The mask creates an airspace that protected the eyes and nose. Scuba dive breathe with the help of a regulator, which bring air to the mouth when they inhale. The regulator is attached to an air tank that is placed on the diver's back. There is a regulator called an octopus which is used in case of emergency situation. Divers also wear a BCD or buoyancy control device to control how much they float or sink. A pressure gauge device tells divers how much air is left in the air tank. Or a dive computer can calculate how much air is left as well as a driver depth and the length of time he or she can stay underwater. Divers wear scuba fins on their feet to help them move easily and quickly through the water. Many divers also wear a wetsuit in order to stay warm underwater. To learn how to use all of this equipment, it helps to go to dive school. Becoming a certificate dive requires taking the 3 series of lessons. New dive must learn about the physics and safety of diving, and they must practice diving skill first in a closed water area and then on actually beginner dives. Several organizations after official diving certification. Scuba diving for fun first became possible with the development of the aqualung by Jacques Couture and Emile Gagnon in the early 1940s. In the United States, articles in popular magazines about Costa and his underwater exploration method help bring attention to scuba diving. Because of the cost of the equipment, diving did not become a widely available sport until years later. Taking diving class and becoming certificate are important for knowing how to dive safely. For example, you need to know how to put a regulator back in your mouth if it falls out underwater. And you need to know how to clear your mask if it fills with water. There are many other safety uses to consider when diving. For example, when going down deeper in the water, a diver must be careful to equalize the pressure in his or her ears. This is done by holding the nose and blowing very gently. Uh, Otherwise, the extreme otherwise the extreme pressure from the surrounding water can cause damage to the middle ear and sinuses. Decompression sickness is a major concern for divers. The deeper a diver goes, the more pressure the surrounding water put on the volume of the air inside his or her lungs. And the deeper a dive, the more nitrogen gas goes into the diver's blood. For, for safety reasons, a diver must make sure the ledge of his or her dive based on its depth so as not to exceed a safe amount of nitrogen absorption. When divers rise to return to the water surface, they must continue to breathe and rise no faster than the air bubbles around them. For very deep dives, they must stop and decompress at certain levels. This is why the highly pressurized air in the diver's lungs has time to leave the body before it expands. If a dive rises to the surface too quickly, he or she can become extremely ill with the decompression sickness, also known as. Another important aspect to diving is having a buddy system. By having a diving partner, you can watch over one another and help each other if there is an accident. One important diving rule is to never touch any of the sea life. This rule is both to protect the dive and protect the underwater environment. For example, there is a reason fire coral received its name. This kind of coral causes a painful burning feeling is touched. A diver could also be cut by touching a sharp piece of coral. Coral might seem hard like stone, but it is actually a very fragile organism. It can be damaged if divers touch or stand on this. In order to protect the beautiful coral reef system, divers must treat them with care. Tito Baldwin. I think everyone takes a different experience away from diving. I think what they love about diving could be the color of the ocean, could be the peacefulness. It could be a gamut of things. Everyone is different. That was Tito Baldwin, a rescue diver from the Bahamas who has been diving for almost 30 years. He has done everything from diving to explore underwater shipwreck to dive 80 meters deep. It might not surprise you to know Tito Baldwin's favorite place in the world to this. Tito Baldwin. Anywhere is the Bahamas because the Bahamas is probably the most beautiful water. The fruitier sound you get away from civilization past Gegeraton down the Planakais, Hogsty Little Inagua where it's untouched by humans. It just vibrant arrive. It's just vibrant, alive, colorful fish everywhere. You get some pretty good extreme driving. You've got good walls. You've got good tunnels and caverns. There's records. Everything you could possibly imagine. We went on a short dive with Tito Baldwin in an area of the Bahamas called the Exhuman. The dive state known as Danger Reef is just south of Indigo Island. The water there was very round, but once you flip backward of the boat and enter the water, you enter a calm and colorful world. The main purpose of this dive was to see the many Caribbean reef sharks that gather in this area. Their sharks have a round and short snout and big round eyes. They eat mainly bony fish. A fully grown family Caribbean reef shark measure about 2 to 3 meters, while a grown male measure 1.5 meters or more in length. It is very exciting and a little bit strange diving among the sharks. You feel as though you should be afraid, even though the sharks are not aggressive at all. The sharks just swim around, watching what is going on around them. At Danger Reef, there were also many large Nausa grouper and yellowfin grouper fish. If you float above the large coral formation, you can extreme the smaller creatures swimming in the reef. The bright yellow and purple fish called the fairly basslet look like small swimming jewels. Many kinds of fish swimming. Many kinds of fish swim in and out of the brine coral, achroom coral, and sea fans, which wave gently with the current. Back on the boat, we asked Tito Bedouin more about safety of diving with sharks. Tito Bedouin: when you get in the water with sharks, people are automatically scared because they've seen jails. They've seen all trace crazy movie. But sharks are just like every other animal in the water. They are petrified of human beings. We were 2 feet away from 5-foot shark and they were just kind of circling around us like everything else in the water. The grouper were close to us. The sharks were close to us. The yellowtail were close to us. They kind of curious and they are more afraid of us than we are of them. There are many other beautiful places around the world to dive. Scuba Diving magazine recently listed several of the must-see diving cities. These include Bonaire, one of the Netherlands, and Tyrus Island off the coast of Venezuela. Here, divers can explore many reefs within a protected marine park. Divers can even explore the sea creatures that live in and around the ship. Hilma Hawker, the 70-meter-long cargo ship, sank over 20 years ago off the coast of Baja California in Mexico. They can see large sea creatures like sharks, giant manta rays, and dolphins. Scuba Diving magazine also recommends the Fiji Island in the South Pacific Ocean. Many divers go here to see grey reef shark or hammerhead sharks. In Australia, divers can explore many interesting areas, including the Great Barrier Reef. It is the largest coral reef system in the world, measuring over 2,000 kilometers in length. This extraordinary natural formation offers many exciting dive possibilities. Also in Australia, the cut-hole diving art of the Robin Reef is famous for its large potato cutfish, and at the Lighthouse Boomy site, divers can swim with minke whales. Scuba diving in any of their places is an extraordinary experience. This popular activity allows people to see an expansive and exciting underwater world in a new way.